94.1 FM.
San Antonio's Sports Star.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, it was a busy day in the NFL. First, the Houston Texans kicked things off as they traded tackle Titus Howard to the Cleveland Browns, and then they proceeded to trade for running back David Montgomery from the Lions in exchange for a 4th and 7th round pick and offensive lineman Juice Scruggs, while the Dallas Cowboys, edge rusher Donovan Ezraku underwent surgery.
This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That ball is history! A walk-off home run!
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pledger here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I am James Pledger. Appreciate you joining me, however you may be joining me, whether that's 94.1 on your FM dial, you happen to be locked in, listening live at sasportstar.com, BRA Best Bell Bonds audio player, or if you're watching the show on YouTube. That's right, we stream all of our shows on YouTube. Just go there, search SA Sports Star. Go ahead and like and subscribe while you're there. You're able to comment along with the show as it happens. So many people already in the chat. Sam, Jacob Eric, Fred Villarreal, Eagle fan, I see all there. Fred Records, Sam already saying, go on, shift everybody. Go get Tyler Biadasz. He was cut by the Commanders. Go ahead and bring him back home to Dallas. Move Cooper Beebe into guard. Just switch everybody around. Maybe that's the way you need to go. Or maybe the Cowboys should be focused more on the other side of the ball when it comes to how they approach free agency this year. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. If you want to be a part of the conversation. Earlier this morning on the Morning Huddle, Rob and AJ talking about how the Cowboys should be attacking free agency.
Well, breaking news in the NFL, in the world of the Houston Texans. Titus Howard, the starting right tackle for the Houston Texans.
Not anymore.
Former starting right tackle for the Houston Texans has been traded to the Browns of Cleveland for a 5th round pick.
How much was he getting paid?
Well, he's been signed to an extension by the Cleveland Browns.
What was he getting with Houston?
Let's see. Well, I mean, he was on his rookie deal, so
they were going to have to pay.
They were going to have to pay him. So now he's getting 3 years, $63 million.
Oh, they couldn't afford that.
$21 million a year and he'd been playing he played mostly left guard this last year because he was kind of a failed tackle.
Well, they have so many good linemen over there that I can see how they can afford to go get a 5th round, but they couldn't afford that. That makes me think even more so that money is going directly to the quarterback.
Browns have 6 offensive linemen on track for free agency. So Cleveland,
maybe they'll get one of those back.
Probably completely reshuffling their offensive line. There was last week people were talking about the possibility of trading CJ Stroud, and the Texans acted like that was crazy. The Texans feel like enough time has passed that maybe people forgot what he did in the playoffs. I've not forgotten, and when the Texans inevitably do overpay CJ Stroud.
And this is where that money is going right here.
Yes.
No, so the other part of this is they're looking for a running back. I mean, they're going to shop that high-end market is what they're telling us. So they're like K9.
But it's been announced that Joe Mixon
So,
and I think we knew he was never coming back.
If I'm a running back and the first news I hear about this, and certainly I'm chasing money first, but also circumstance. I also want to land someplace where I can be successful, whether I'm getting paid like it or not. That doesn't bode well for the run game. Not that the run game was solid and the offensive line was solid, but if he wasn't your best lineman, he was your second best lineman. I don't know what the PFF grades out to, but not like he was, again, your best, but that doesn't bode well.
Well, the Texans didn't have any good offensive line.
I know. So if I'm a running back, why? I know you're going to probably pay me, but why would I go there knowing full well that this line is in shambles, man?
And by the way, Laramie Tunsil, who they shipped out because he was bad for the locker room, seventh graded tackle on PFF.
And the Commanders would like to thank you for your short-sightedness.
Appreciate that.
Yes.
But bad locker room guy. Bad locker room guy. No, I don't know. I'm with you. I wouldn't be thrilled if I was a potential free agent addition.
Just something to consider. I don't think it's the be all end all of making a decision like that, because right now, guys like Kane, and who are the other ones floating around? Etienne is another one that's going to be talked about, and one more. So there's 3 kind of marquee level running backs that are going to be kind of floating around. The first is money, because this is your generational check. You're not going to get a bigger one than this one. So you're going to take the most you can. But if success plays a role in where you land, the Houston Texans' history with a running back has been pretty dim for the last 15 years.
Yeah. The list of free agent running backs this year, Najee Harris, Austin Eckler, Antonio Gibson, Travis Etienne, Rico Dowdle, Nick Chubb, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, J.K. Dobbins.
There's a couple 2.
Yeah.
Not many.
There's not much. If you so when you say we're going to be shopping around the top end, you're basically saying we're going to be shopping around Kenneth Walker and maybe Travis Etienne.
And Etienne, maybe Breece Hall. I don't know. He's got some tread on the tire. I haven't heard his name in a couple years.
Yeah.
But no, there's not much else there.
Yeah. I guess Najee Harris, maybe. I don't know. None of it's sexy. Kenneth Walker's the guy. I mean, I'd be interested in him. He's 25 years old. Travis Etienne's 27. I think I'm not looking to pay running backs into their 30s.
Yeah, both these guys, it's their last deal.
And most of the like Austin Eckler's already 30.
And
Nick
he can't stay healthy.
Nick Chubb's already 30. No interest. Breece Hall 24, maybe there. Yeah, there's not. But I'm also a general believer in just draft a running back.
Find your running back.
Yeah, just draft one off the streets.
Preferably second day.
Yes. Yeah, not in the first round. Just find a guy and hand him the ball. Remember Brian Robinson? Remember how excited everybody was? Oh, Brian Robinson's going to the 49ers. And guess what? Brian Robinson's a free agent again.
Yeah, that never fit, man. That never worked. He needs to stay in the general Washington, Maryland area. Never leave, bro.
Well, what happened was he showed up at a year that Christian McCaffrey stayed on the field the whole time. So useless. And if I don't know. I just feel like any of these teams that are overpaying for running backs are silly anyway. But it goes to my point of if you're not going to pay your offensive linemen, what's the point of paying running backs?
And as a running back, you should respect that axiom. Pay them first, and then I'll show up later.
Yeah. C-Note says they are going to pay Stroud. No,
they're paying him.
Fully believe
that's
they are.
That money that he was going to get, the lineman was going to get.
I just think it's a bit of a misstep.
I'm not going to be mad at him if they do.
Okay.
I mean, I think you could prolong this agony, or you can kind of slap some lipstick on it.
Also of offensive line note, Jawan Taylor, the longtime tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, who was set to make $20 million in salary and bonuses, cap number north of 27. They will release Jawan Taylor. He will be released at the start of before the start of the new league year on March 11th. They could trade him. No one's going to trade for a guy who's going to be a $27 million cap hit. But again, this is another situation where Kansas City is going to have to work on their offensive line too. Another team that people say, oh, they need a running back. No, most teams don't need running backs. What most teams need is better offensive lines. Why can't you run the ball? Generally, it's not because your running back's no good.
Yeah, but running backs are a lot more fun. They're easier to find.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I've seen plenty of mediocre running backs do a good job behind a good offensive line.
With all these linemen hitting the streets, and we're starting to see some movement there. And Jerry holding court in the bus there in Indianapolis saying, we're going to spend more money than you expect. Wonder where they're going to spend that money.
I think it's all going to be on the defensive side of things. I really.
I'm curious if they're going to draft
George
defensively
Pickens and the defensive side.
Are they going to draft defensively and spend offensively? Are they going to draft offensively and spend defensively? Because you figure if you're spending defensively, that's a quick fix. You're like, we're gonna buy a guy. We know he's good. We'll plug him in because we don't need much, and we'll draft long term. I really am curious to see if it's a peppering of both in the draft and free agency. Are they just going to go buy the fix that they feel is most important? And, whatever that might be, I think it's an offensive lineman. I think they're going to buy one. I think they're going to spend some money on the offensive line.
I feel like it's a lot easier when you've got one strong unit and one weak unit. It's a lot easier to plug a young player in to the strong unit and help him develop than it is to put a young player on a bad unit that's already bad.
I would agree with you, except on the Cowboy offensive line, because they have proven to me they cannot draft it. I mean, we're running 1 in 4 maybe that are working out.
I mean, you could make the same argument about the defensive line, couldn't you?
Well, I mean, yes and no.
That's not money well spent.
No, but I know they haven't. It's been a minute since they drafted well, but I know when was the last offensive lineman we could say that? I guess the guard from Bama was a success. Drive blocking offensive lineman is not that hard to find,
right? But also, that's 1 year.
No, I think we can all agree that he looks like the dude. I'm not. I think the early returns are positive on him, but can't scout a left tackle. We know that.
No, and Tyler Guyton, you could tell at the beginning this guy's
not going to work.
Is not it.
So go buy him. Go buy one that knows what he's doing, and plug a defensive dude on the other side, add some speed or whatever. What I do think it's going to be interesting to see which way they spend their money as opposed they draft the capital.
Yeah. The other thing the Cowboys have to decide on is what's going to happen with Tyler Smith. Like, are you committing to Tyler Smith on the outside? Are you going to move Tyler Smith back to the inside?
We know he's better inside.
I agree, but he's also a lot better than your options on the outside.
Is there, like I said,
Tyler Guyton and Terrence Steele are not good football
This is
players.
A place you go buy something that's been developed for you, because by your evidence, you don't scout left tackles very well.
The left tackle market this year, Cam Robinson, unrestricted free agent. That's gonna be costly.
Well, Jerry's saying he's going to spend more.
Who else of note? Kevin Beacham, DJ Humphreys.
They expect, if they redo all the deals that are possible to be redone, to come up with about $60 million.
Okay. That's after George Pickens?
Let me clarify that. I believe no.
Okay.
So let's talk about 40.
I think you got to. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. You don't want to go into a season with two bad offensive tackles, and the Cowboys have two bad offensive tackles right now. But if the plan is to keep Tyler Smith out there and try and piece it together for another year and add in a drafted piece, I'm not, because remember, it's a lot easier. It's a lot cheaper also to draft a guard than it is to draft a tackle.
Mm-hmm.
If you draft a tackle, you probably need to draft him in round 1. Because there ain't a whole lot of offensive tackles who make it that don't get drafted in the first, second round.
And it's not an instant fix because these aren't the superstars, but there's 3 left tackles that you can plug and play.
In the draft,
you could go pay. No, you have to. No. Drafting is not. You're not going to get that unless something falls from the sky.
Yeah,
but I think you could probably go spend $20 million, 20 to 25, and that's what's going to cost you minimum. Go get that guy, but I think you could plug and play and forget about it.
I'm looking at some of the guards available. There's some older guys like Kevin Zeitler, Joel Bitonio.
I'm talking left tackle. Right tackle take care of itself. I got to find a left tackle.
Well, I don't know that there is a left tackle that's plug and play. I don't know. I guess. Yeah, I
in San Francisco about to get rid of theirs.
Trent Williams.
Yeah, aren't they a little upset with him?
He's still there for now. I guess Rasheed Walker who has been in Green Bay. I guess they're going to let him go. I don't know. If so, that's might be worth kicking the tires on.
I'm just saying, of all the things that everything on the offense is taken care of. You got your wide receivers, you franchised them. God knows we got a lot of tight ends.
You've drafted a handful.
You signed your running back. You got your quarterback. Only thing that could cause any kind of problems is this. Your left tackle cannot live up to the gig.
But you know what? If you approached Dakota Prescott and said, hey, why'd you guys stink last year? Was it because of your tackles or your defense? What do you think he's going to say?
Well, I think he'd say defense, and I'm not saying they're not going to address that. But if I'm Dakota, I'm also saying, yeah, left tackle would help.
Yeah.
It would help.
I'm sure it would.
But certainly with my career, I mean, I'm already injury prone. The best thing you can do is provide me a little bit of help, because if you haven't been keeping track, I think we talked about this yesterday. This is an even-numbered year, and I don't do well in even-numbered years.
Yeah. But also that would require also either throwing Tyler Guyton out with the bathwater.
I'm not saying throw him out with the bathwater, but I'm saying a lot of fire,
or
moving him down the line.
Terrence Steele just admitting this was a disaster.
That's not that hard to do.
Yeah.
That's not that hard to do.
Either way, Cowboys continue to struggle drafting there. But yeah, I don't know what I still think, like, there's so many holes on that defensive side that that's where I would want to spend my money, but I guess it's all player dependent. And also, I don't totally know the new scheme of the defense.
You're in a 3-4.
How do the guys that they have fit? What adjustments need to be made? All that goes into it, I guess. So I'll maybe give them the benefit of the doubt until they prove me wrong.
Cowboys have a lot of moves that they have to make, especially on the defensive side of the football. So it's going to be very interesting to follow what they do this offseason. I know Jerry says he expects to spend money. That's fine. At this point, you now have to show it to me. Sam says, move Guyton to right tackle, cut Steele. Doesn't sound like they're going to cut Steele. Maybe they should, but doesn't sound like they're gonna. Guyton to right tackle might make sense just in terms of the fact that he was a right tackle in college. They projected him to move to left. He was a right tackle because he was protecting a left-handed quarterback. And so maybe that's something that he can flip back to quite easily and make that adjustment. But if I'm the Cowboys, I dangle that 12th pick out there for Max Crosby and see how serious the Raiders are about potentially moving him. Because you can want two firsts at 28 at the back end of the first on a team that's going to be good anyway. That's different from having one that is just outside of the top 10. And the trade value chart reflects that. So there is a potential that maybe 12 and a little bit less gets that move moving. Now, maybe the Cowboys want to keep 12 just in case they do have a shot at a Sonny Styles or something like that. But, man, just remember, this is going to be different. This is going to be different because there are going to be a lot of names that become available. There are a lot of teams that have already started shedding people or letting you know that Kyler Murray or Tua Tagovailoa or Kirk Cousins could all become available when the new league year starts. Keep eyes out for guys like Mika Fitzpatrick and other just teams that are starting to get ready to shed salaries, big bloated salaries on bad teams, which means good players become available. And whether that's the Cowboys or the Texans, there are ways to help get and improve the roster without necessarily having to, as Jerry mentioned earlier, bust the budget. We'll discuss more on that. Plus, the Spurs laid an egg up in New York. Wesley, I see you there on the phone line. Hold on. We'll be right back. right after this up here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
You bet I'm worth more.
We completely agree. At GiveMeTheVin.com, you are worth more, and your car's worth more. And we want to pay more for good cars at Give Me the VIN, because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if we don't beat a deal from Carvana or CarMax, we'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson here with my good friends from PrizePicks. I've got a little hint for you. I want you to go download PrizePicks right now. And if you remember the code ALAMO, you're going to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Remember, that's code ALAMO, and you'll get $50 in lineups. That's just from me to you. Now, let's talk about why you want to go get on PrizePicks, because right now is the best time to play PrizePicks, because the season's meat is there. We know what the teams are doing. We know who's going to get more or less. Now go capitalize. As college ends up, as the NBA pros head toward the playoffs, you know that Wemby's trending up. You know that Steph Castle's trending up. You know that certain guys are trending down. Now's the time to go play. So when you're playing basketball and you are winning, remember what PrizePicks does for you? If they start out fast, you can go ahead and cash out before the game's even over. That's why I love PrizePicks. Also, you got good picks? Share them on social media. They're going to help you do that. PrizePicks is fantastic because being right is good. Being right more is better. But man, it feels so good to be right.
Hey, Texas hockey fans, the Dallas Stars continue their road trip north of the border tomorrow night against the Calgary Flames. And my friends from Flight by Yingling are hosting a Dallas Stars watch party at McIntyre Southtown location. Jason Minix here from The Blitz. In ESPN.com's latest hockey power rankings, they have the Dallas Stars at number 5. It's March officially the stretch run. And at tomorrow night's watch party, you can register to win a flyaway trip to see the Stars take on the Flyers in Philadelphia March 29th. The flyaway package includes airfare for 2, a hotel, and 2 game tickets. Must be at least 21 years of age to enter. And you could also win some exclusive Flight by Yingling Dallas Stars gear, like hats and t-shirts at the watch party tomorrow night. Puck drops at 8 o'clock tomorrow night at McIntyre Southtown location with Flight by Yingling, proud partner of the Dallas Stars and the next generation of light beer. Enjoy responsibly. DG Yingling and Son, Pottsville, PA.
Save $10 on a pair of Rain-X Latitude wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Our professional parts people will even install them for free.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I am James Pleasure. Appreciate y'all joining me this evening as we get you all the way up till 7 o'clock. Lots going on in the NFL, and we'll get back to that. But, of course, your phone calls are always welcome. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. As Wesley called in, wanting to talk a little Spurs basketball, who laid a bit of an egg last night in New York against the Knicks. What's going on, Wes?
Hey, Pledge, thanks for letting me call it. Hey, I also just had to give you a quick Cowboys take. I kind of agree with Rob about this. You know, you're going to get some things that are available because you're right, some of the salaries and what's going to happen dumping-wise. But, man, every bit of defense that you can get in the draft, hell, I would bet the farm. You know me, I'm a Texas Tech guy. But go get the entire front seven from Texas Tech and put them on the Cowboys right now. That's better than anything they have right now. So, you know, like you said, Sonny Styles or Mansour or one of those guys that would be a really good pick at 12. But, yeah, I'm with you, man. If you can dangle the carrot and go get Max, whew, that's a no-brainer.
12's a big carrot to dangle.
It is, and I'm telling you, having that second pick's a big deal too. You know, you could potentially get yourself in a position to trade back a little bit and still get a quality player, because this draft I think is loaded defensively. Anyway, hey, Spurs-wise, I'm sorry to kind of barge in on it, but dude, I have to get your opinion about this. Can we officially say that the New York Knicks are the kryptonite of the Spurs, and beyond that? Can we also say that maybe it's because they're built a lot like the Spurs but with a little bit more toughness. If you think about what Cat brings to the table, the Spurs didn't have an answer for him. And I'll be honest, Mitch, I think, is the coach of the year. I really do. But I don't think that he knew how to guard Cat. And he refused to put Wemby on him. And I think he figured that it would get him in foul trouble or whatever. But for whatever reason, you have to give Mike Brown a lot of credit. He outcoached Mitch by a mile. And I'm just saying, I think the Knicks are just a more physical version of what the Spurs are right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, they outplayed them last night. They pulled away from them late in the NBA Cup final. So I've seen really two matchups against them. I'm not willing to say that they just have their number, but they have definitely outperformed them in the two instances where they've met each other. And a lot of that was, yes, it's a veteran team with veterans that know how to play. And in terms of being built similarly, I think New York has more shooting, which is part of the reason that they have also had the success that they've had. I mean, you got Karl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby, and of course Jalen Brunson and Hart. And I mean, they've got Mikal Bridges. Like, they got guys that can shoot from the outside at a high percentage. And if the Spurs fall back or are not hitting at least a 36% clip, it's kind of been the book on them this year. Now, I will not say that they've out-physicaled them or that they've done things, but they have defensively at least flustered them. And I'm not going to go as far as saying that this team doesn't know how to react or how to get in with a team that is being like that. But you got to remember, like, the Spurs, one of these games was in New York at the Garden, so there's a home court advantage that must be taken into account. And the other one was a neutral site game, and that one was a lot closer. Can the Spurs get those at home? Can they figure out a way to win one on the road in a 7-game series? These are questions that remain to be answered and will be answered if they were to meet in the postseason, which would be in the NBA Finals. But yeah, it is a well-constructed team. It is a very good team. It is a deep team. And part of the reason is that I think this team is built better than previous Knicks teams is because Mike Brown isn't running this team into the ground the way a Tom Thibodeau would. Like, he'll play 6 people and that's it. Just those 6 people. And that's his bench. And he will do that throughout the entire season into the postseason. And you see it every year by about the second or the conference finals, that team starts to wear down just because of the amount of minutes that those guys play every single year. And that is all of Tibbs' defenses, all of Tibbs' teams. I don't care if you go look at his time with the Timberwolves or wherever he's been. That is the narrative on Tom Thibodeau's teams. And so I think Mike Brown has a better understanding of delegation of minutes and how to get the best out of his team. And that makes them very dangerous. Are they the kryptonite to the Spurs? I'm not willing to go that far yet because I still don't know that this Spurs team is a complete aspect. This is a team that was riding an 11-game win streak through the rodeo road trip and trying to go perfect on the rodeo road trip. They've had some hiccups. They've won some games that were not pretty, like in Detroit. They finally couldn't win a poorly played game. That's going to happen.
Yeah. Can we ask you this, Pledge? I'm going to throw something at you. Mm-hmm. Can we officially be a little worried about Keldon Johnson and his shoulder? He does not look right. I mean, can we agree that I know he's trying to tough it out, but Keldon is, in the last like 3 or 4 games, especially, has really not been effective. And I kind of feel like, maybe it's the Vassell has really risen up, and that's nice. But Keldon in his 6-man role right now seemingly is struggling a bit. Mm-hmm. And I also feel like the same thing can be said about Cornette. Not much is being said about it, but Cornette has looked real flat-footed lately. I don't know if it's the increased minutes this year. I don't know if it's fatigue. I don't know if that's why they got Plumlee. But I feel like maybe something unsaid right now is that the bench is lacking a little bit of punch. What do you think?
I mean, look, Cornette, and that's part of the scouting when you take a guy who plays very limited minutes. The Houston Rockets famously did this with James Harden, and you try and extrapolate out if you play those minutes over an increased period of time. But there's a downside to that. Like, some players can handle an increased workload, and some people work better in a minimalized workload. So is Cornette one of those players that thrives more in a not as expansive role? And I'm not saying that you can't increase his workload, but have they increased it too much in a sense to where you kind of back off a little bit to kind of find the sweet spot of where Cornette and his minutes and production all meet up in the Venn diagram?
Yeah, I just feel like, one of the things that, they shipped off Sohan, and I totally agree with that. I just kind of feel like there's still that little bit of a nag when you talk about playoffs coming up, because let's be honest, Pledge, they're heading north of 50 wins this year, which is great. I mean, if anybody would have told you that's going to happen this year, I mean, that's a win in itself. And I think Spurs fans really have to be realistic. I'm not saying don't expect them to not do well, but you have to kind of almost take your lumps in some respects. My concern is, do they have enough to give good life to the legs of those bigs? Because that's an awful lot to ask of Cornette and even Wemby, for that matter, to have to shoulder that load solely when they're going to start.
It's not too much to ask of Wemby, because guess what? As soon as you drafted Wemby, those were the expectations placed upon him, and he has lived up to those expectations at every turn. I mean, he is an MVP candidate this year. He is a perennial Defensive Player of the Year candidate. The only thing that slows him down is health. And that is when you are a generational talent and you're a person that can lift a franchise single-handedly, those are the expectations that are going to be placed upon you, good, bad, or indifferent. Yes, it takes more than one player, but that is who Victor Wembanyama is. You can't be in an MVP consideration without also being considered as a person, because let's face it, the Spurs aren't going to be able to pay everyone. They're not going to be able to pay maxes to Castle and Wemby and be able to keep guys like Vassell and Keldon and paying Cornette what they're paying. Like, you can't continually be able to give out these bigger contracts and Dylan Harper when his time comes. And there's going to be losses when it comes to players just because of the salary cap in the era that we're in, because the Spurs aren't going to go into those higher luxury tax thresholds the way that, say, Golden State would. And so, yes, Wemby's going to be asked to do more and more each and every year, unless he is willing to take less and less, the way that Tim Tony Amanu did. And even then, Tony had to get his at some point. He had to get paid commensurate with the top of the market point guards at one point in his career. He wanted it to be his own show at some point, and the Spurs made that happen. So there is a juggling act you have to do in a salary cap era that is with the taxes and everything that's involved with the NBA right now, and you're going to have to be that guy. And Wemby has been that guy. Can he take it to another level? We all hope so.
Yeah. Hey, listen, again, I appreciate you taking my call. I'm so excited. I'm very honest when I say this. I have great expectations. I'm just enjoying the ride. It's fun to see the team great again and relevant.
Enjoy the ride, man, because look at what the national media did. It took 11 straight wins, and they start talking about the Spurs as true title contenders, and it took one bad loss against the Knicks to undo all of that, to where all day today they're talking about if there's a flaw in the Spurs, we just saw it totally unmasked last night. So, the ups, the downs with the national media is it took us a long way to get to the pinnacle. It took one loss for them to fall off the cliff to being not title contenders anymore. So enjoy the ride the Spurs are taking you on this year, because it is going to be worth it. This is a team, and even if they fall short, just remember Oklahoma City. They lost early. They realized what their shortcomings were. They spent money in free agency on an Isaiah Hartenstein, and then they went and traded for Alex Caruso, and those two moves right there were the two moves that put them over the top into going and getting a title after they were the number one seed in the NBA and fell short. It took learning in the postseason. And I'm never going to say that because they don't have the experience, they can't make that jump, because everybody says it can never happen. It can never happen until it happens. But I will say, if they fall short, don't be sad or disappointed. Look for what they do to address the needs that made them fall short to strengthen it this upcoming offseason.
Yes, sir. Hey, thanks again, Pledge. It's great talking to you, my friend.
Always, Wes. Appreciate the phone call. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776 if you want to be a part of the conversation. The Houston Texans, you heard on the Morning Huddle, they made at least one bold move this morning. Well, actually, they made two bold moves. But in making those bold moves, are there obvious flaws and holes in the Texans, or do we need to see the whole picture come together? That's all coming up here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
The Gomez Law Firm is proud to be San Antonio's trusted personal injury law firm for the past 50 years. We have Jose with the Gomez Law Firm here with us. Your firm has been fighting for the people of San Antonio since 1973. That's incredible.
There are not a lot of businesses that stick around for even 50 years, let alone personal injury law firms.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then turn to the law firm that will fight for you. Visit joegomezlaw.com.
And remember, Gomez Law fights.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter? Right? And the best part? They accept Discover. Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
I love my Kinetico water softener. Dave here, and yes, I own a Kinetico. Other water softeners just can't measure up. So if your old unit keeps breaking, leaking, or burning through salt, stop paying for frustration. A Kinetico doesn't run on electricity. It powers itself using your water flow and only cleans itself when needed, not on a timer. And Kinetico backs its efficiency claims with independent testing through the Water Quality Association. Kinetico protects your plumbing and appliances. It helps dishes and fixtures stay cleaner and leaves your skin and hair feeling better. And right now, with the purchase of a Kinetico, you receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station at your kitchen sink. For clean, pure water 24/7, call Kinetico of San Antonio and the Hill Country, 210-656-PURE, and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
Kinetico.
USA.com.
License number 38961.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is back. Round up your foursome, your work crew, your weekend golf buddies, even the ladies, and get ready for a fun, laid-back day at the Golf Club of Texas. Monday, March 30th. Lock in a team for just $500 for a foursome, or jump in solo for $150 per player and spend the day talking trash, crushing drives, and laughing your way around the course. This isn't a stuffy golf club tournament. It's golf the way it should be. The Spring Golf Classic benefits feeding animals at no-kill shelters across Texas, so you're having a great time for a great cause. Presented by Flight by Yingling and sponsored by Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Shun Club, PPL Motorhomes, and Ancira Auto Group. And when the last putt drops, the day is just getting started. Join us for the after party at the 90 Proof Bar at Lucky Ranch Road and Highway 90. Cold drinks, great food, and all the post-round storytelling you can handle. So pick your tee, claim your spot, and tee up with San Antonio's Sports Star. Sign up your foursome now at sasportstar.com.
San Antonio is Aggie country. This is Andrew Monaco, and you're listening to the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm James Pledger. Appreciate y'all riding along with me tonight as we take you up till the top of the hour. And you know it's a good day when the Houston Texans actually get legitimate conversation on the Blitz in the afternoon. Made my day as some bold moves were made, but did they leave more holes than they solved?
The Houston Texans offensive line was bad, and now they've traded away two dudes from their offensive line. They did add a running back.
They did.
I love the Texans trading for David Montgomery. They got rid of two offensive linemen today. You can only believe that at some point they plan on adding different offensive linemen. They can't have a plan with hope. They can't hope to add. They've got to have some dudes in mind because David Montgomery is a huge addition to that running back room and great for C.J. Stroud. But losing two offensive linemen, your better offensive lineman on a bad offensive line, I wouldn't be surprised now. They got 5 new offensive linemen going into next year. I don't know that I'd be surprised, but hard to build continuity with all these new dudes.
Well, they've got to get some better production, though, obviously. I mean, that's the weakest link on that football team is that offensive line. And when you've got a quarterback that you think is going to be your guy for the next however many years, you need to take care of him and keep him upright so he can do what he was brought there to do. And that offensive line, it's been a problem now for 2 years. And still, the Texans have overcome that to a large degree because of their fantastic defense and made runs in the playoffs. So, and quite frankly, should have been playing in the Super Bowl.
The woulda, coulda, what if offseason for the Houston Texans. And if this stat is true, with Titus Howard getting traded away today, he is the last draft pick by Bill O'Brien that's still with the organization. It is weird because I think if you're a Houston Texans fan, you're thrilled with David Montgomery. You also know that means Joe Mixon is done.
Well, of course.
You kind of knew or hoped that anyway. But I can't wait to see what Nick Casario's corresponding moves are, because it can't be we hope to find somebody in free agency or we hope to draft some guys that can come in right away. That defense is set. C.J. Stroud now with some healthier receivers and a running back room that includes David Montgomery and how great he is in the red zone. That's huge if you got somebody that can block.
Well, exactly. And just think about this for a minute. If they can improve that offensive line, they've got the receivers, obviously, with Collins. And if Tank Dell comes back healthy and C.J. Stroud, you got a running game. I think they got a tight end. I can't remember his name. I'm not sure what it
He's kind of the weak link of that receiver core. But I digress.
His name is Schultz. You normally say something on that's close to that, but you can't say on radio.
Yeah, I can't say that on radio. Does he still have a year left? He signed a 3-year deal with them.
Yeah.
So he's got a year left with the Texans. So look, and they're right there. And as good as that defense is, man, if you give CJ, if they can put some points on the board, this team, you got to, if you're a Texan fan, you got to have some high hopes this year that they're going to get back, obviously, in the playoffs and then and maybe take it all the way.
But when you look at and you think about what this means for Houston with the draft coming up, and it's so bizarre because, like, when the offensive line go through the combine, seems like everybody leaves. Caserio spent more time around offensive linemen at the combine than maybe some of the other position groups. I mean, that's a dude that didn't even need to show up for the defensive guys. And if they could figure out offensive line, then, man, that Houston Texans team, my goodness, right?
Going to be fantastic.
And that's the one thing that I don't think Nick Caserio made these moves without what his next move is in mind, which is why when the Titus Howard trade happened, I initially thought, okay, what's the move? Because they did something to free up about $5 million in cap space with that. And there had to be an ancillary move coming alongside it. Turned out it was David Montgomery that was the ancillary move. Now they're going to have to fix that offensive line. Do I think it's going to be a whole bunch of rookies that they take with their first round pick, their 2 seconds and third? No. Do I think that there are going to be rookies incorporated? Yes. There's going to be a lot of players, as we talked about earlier in the show with the Cowboys, that are going to get released from their team. Some of those people are going to be offensive linemen. It's going to be very interesting to see how they construct this offensive line, because last year the Bears totally reconstructed their offensive line and it worked. What do the Houston Texans, what does Nick Caley in year 2 have in mind? Because they're going to extend this offseason, it looks like, Will Anderson. Could that free up some money doing that? I'm sure it can. There are other moves that they're probably going to do to free up even more money. You get $8.5 million back just by cutting Joe Mixon. They're going to be able to figure things out. It's can they put the right pieces in place in the right order? And that's the one thing, not sure if we can trust Nick Caserio and the evaluation of the Houston Texans and how they build a roster. We say it all the time. The Texans defense, that's a Texans mindset. Will Anderson Jr., Daniil Hunter, Sheldon Rankins, Jalen Petrie, they all play with a certain mindset. Derek Steenley, Kamari Lassiter, Azeez Al-Shaair, swarm mentality. You go over to the offensive side of the football, there weren't a whole lot of those guys. As a matter of fact, it was probably only one of those guys, if I'm being honest. And that person was Joe Mixon, that played with that kind of mentality. Maybe Nico Collins. Other than that, there's not a lot of guys that you would expect to play with that same type of aggression. And I think that's what they're trying to find in their offensive linemen. They found something in Ariate Ursary last year. Can they put the rest of the pieces around him now? It's going to be very interesting to find out what these ancillary moves are, because the Texans do have a lot of ammo. A first, 2 seconds, including pick 38 in the first round, which is way up near the top. I'm not even sure I expect them to pick in the first round. They may trade out of the first round for a second consecutive year. They've got a 3rd round pick, a 4th round pick, 2 5th round picks, a 7th round pick. And then in 2027, they have a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 2 6ths. So they have got ammunition, and Nick Caserio loves to move around the draft board. And remember, like he did for Montgomery now, like he did for Joe Mixon in the past. You're going to cut him? Christian Kirk in the past. You're going to cut him? Here's a 6th round pick. Here's a 7th round pick. Make him ours instead. We'll take on the contract, restructure it, make it work to fit our salary cap. And he's done that in the past. I expect him to do things similar to that as we get closer to these cuts being finalized and in free agency. I expect them to make a move, but they made a great addition with David Montgomery, who, yes, he's 29. I don't look at running backs in terms of age as much as I do carries. And he didn't have that many carries this year, and he has been in a timeshare with Gibbs for the last few years. He's got some tread left on those tires, in my opinion. And so maybe we go from Sonic and Knuckles to Woody and Buzz. Who knows? Is he the new Buzz Lightyear with Woody Marks? But to me, this is a crucial offseason for the Houston Texans and for CJ Stroud. And it seems like they're trying to do things right. They put the weapons around him. They invested heavily last year going in, getting Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. And by the way, what's up with all the Iowa State connections that they have? Noel, Higgins, they drafted Xavier Hutchinson in the previous years. They just went and got David Montgomery, by the way, an Iowa State guy. They love them some Iowa State players. But they put the weapons around him. Now they need to put the line in front of him. That is the final piece of the puzzle to see if the Houston Texans can make a run into an AFC championship and even a Super Bowl. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776 if you want to be a part of the conversation. More of your calls plus conversation, whether it's Texans, Spurs, Cowboys even. It's all coming up next right here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text SPARK to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text SPARK to 215-215. That's SPARK to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jeff's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination, where Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge, and Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Jeff is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, the Spurs have one more leg on their rodeo road trip in Philly to take on the Sixers.
And we will have the latest Cowboys and NFL news. We'll even talk about it with Shireen Williams from ProFootballTalk.com at 5:15.
I hope she has some answers about what Jerry's going to do.
Please.
The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. 94.1.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. A lot of questions about Kenyon Sadiq in the chat. Sam's asking about him. 6'3", ran the fastest 40 by a tight end at the combine. Just completely stole the show. He's not going to be there unless Dallas takes him at 12. And I assume Sam is asking about the Dallas Cowboys. But you don't need a tight end. You've got a Jake Ferguson. Yeah, having a second tight end's awesome and running those two tight end sets, but you need to fix that other side of the ball more. And he won't be there at 20. He won't be there at 23 for the Eagles. He won't be there at 28 for the Texans. He's going somewhere between, I'm going to guess now, 8 and 15. If I were to guess. That dude made a lot of money at the combine this week, just like the Arkansas running back. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Remember to call your loved ones, check on them. You never know what people are going through in life. And a simple, hey, how you doing can change everything for someone. I appreciate all y'all riding along with me tonight. Join us tomorrow. Don't forget to start your day with the Morning Huddle with Rob and AJ from 6 to 10. Then, of course, the Blitz, taking you home from work 2 to 6. And I'll be right here at 6 to 7 to get you into the driveway and home for the night. Until then, have a great night, everybody.
94.1.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones